a murderer, a killer, a thief, the worst human being possible. They kill thousands of people, and then this person dies and they're buried on earth. There is no resurrection. Did they go to the same place? They went to the same place. They were both buried on earth, and that's it. Nothing happens. No reward, no punishment. And this person claims that there is a God, and this God, he must be knowledgeable, he must be powerful, he must be wise, he must be fair, he must be just. So how can he be fair and just and not reward and not punish? You know, even everyone in this room, we understand the concept of retribution. We understand that there has to be a reward for something good and a punishment for something evil. That's why we have courts, that's why we have prisons and justice systems. And that's why we have rewards and award ceremonies, because we believe in rewarding good behavior and punishing bad behavior. Even children understand this concept. Even they know when they do something wrong, they will be punished. But you might ask, or maybe you might argue, maybe the parents taught them that. But there are certain things, such as the concept of retribution, that animals and children understand, without anyone giving them a lesson about it. And I will give you an example. You can go to the Calgary Zoo, and you can offend the local monkey in its cage. And if you do something to offend the monkey, they will get even with you. And they will fling something at you, and let me not be more descriptive than that. But do take a change of clothing and perhaps an umbrella. This monkey understands the concept of getting even with someone. And there are many other animals that do it. One of my favorite examples is one bird that's referred to as the honey guide, which guides you to honey. Whenever it finds a beehive, it will come to you and look you directly in the eye, and you start to sing and flutter its wings and jump up and down, and so you follow it and move to the next branch, and it keeps guiding you to where there is a beehive. And the deal is that you're supposed to, human beings, they use whatever techniques of smoke and so forth, and then they remove the honey, and then you're supposed to leave some for this bird, and it eats. But there's some people who are very mean-spirited. They eat the honey, and then they throw it into the ground and they stomp it into the dirt. So the bird comes down and it finds nothing to eat whatsoever. But it's a very nice bird. It says, don't worry, I know where there's more honey. And it keeps looking you directly in the eye, fluttering its wings and singing and calling you, and you keep following it until it will lead you to the territory of a dangerous animal that will attack you. This is a bird. It understands the concept of retribution. The bird understands reward and punishment. You don't reward it by giving it the honey. It will punish you. And sometimes it leads you to a hole in the tree, you stick your hand in, a badger or some other animal starts tearing at you and biting and scratching. This bird understands this concept. How can it be that the Creator in His wisdom and in His justice doesn't understand the concept of rewarding people for the good that they do and punishing people for the evil sins that they commit? And so therefore, there has to be a day of resurrection. And if there is a day of resurrection, that means that God has to let His truth be clear to us, His message be clear to us as well, so we can know how to avoid the hellfire and how to enter into paradise. The other thing why people need Allah and why people need God is that the human being is created out of the body and the spirit. Every one of us here, we're a combination of the body and the spirit. The Islamic explanation is that life is this relationship between the body and the spirit. The minute the spirit leaves the body, that's the end of life. So because we're created of the body and the spirit, we have to take care of both. Not one, but both. The majority of people are only taking care of one. The majority of people are taking care of the body. How do you take care of the body? You eat, you drink, you sleep, you take care of the body. But then there is the spirit. And that's why you find people who have reached the epitome of taking care of the body, that they're very rich. They don't have to, let's say, go to work. They can sleep in if they like. They don't have to worry about where the next meal is coming from or the next drink. They've actually taken care of and satiated all the needs of the body. Those people, they still find this emptiness inside. That emptiness is the need of the spirit. That's why you always find people believing in something. And Even those who are atheists and don't believe in anything, most of the time you will find that they believe in some kind of spirit, some kind of UFO, some kind of force, or some kind of unexplained phenomenon. Whatever they refer to it as, however they philosophize it. So that's because of the spirit, it needs something. And this emptiness that people find, and I always reference this show that used to be on television, it was called True Hollywood Stories. Anyone remember what else I would put in the title? It would say stories without the Hollywood ending. Because in Hollywood there's always the right into the sunset and the good stuff. But they're talking about the lives of these musicians and famous actors and actresses, and most of them, when you go through the biographies, the majority of them, they end up overdosing on drugs or choking on their bomb or something like that. So because after they took care of the body and everything, and they reached what they thought to be the purpose in life, they still found this emptiness. And so they try to fill this void with other things, with experimenting with different kinds of drugs, with alcohol, or with trying to keep themselves busy. So one weekend you're jumping off an airplane, next time you're going kayaking, after that you're diving, then you're skydiving, constantly trying to keep themselves busy to fill that gap, that void that they feel. But that void that we said is related to the fact that you have the Spirit, and the Spirit needs something to believe in. And that's why, as some claim that 96% of the world population believe in a Creator. In one way or another, they believe in a Creator. Because there is need to believe in something. So, there is a Creator. We're in need of worshipping. We're in need of fulfilling the Spirit. And there is a day of resurrection. And so we said the purpose of life is to worship the Creator, and that is linked to the final destination of people. Allah Azza wa Jalla described in the Quran how the day of judgment has drawn near. The day of judgment has come near. And we said there has to be a day of judgment. There has to be reward and punishment. People have to be accountable for their deeds. I would mention one fairly popular report in the United States who started to become an atheist. And then after a week of firmly believing that there is no God, she went back to believing that there is a God. Because of the concept of retribution. Because of justice. She started to just repeat to herself over and over and over again. So Hitler just died? Hitler just died? And she just kept repeating it over and over again. It made no sense to her that he would be responsible for killing so many people, but nothing happens to him. He got off very easy, actually. There's no punishment whatsoever. So it can't be that there is no resurrection. And there is no justice there. And there's nothing fulfilling there. And that's why in Islam, and when we study the teachings of Islam, you will find things that you would think to be the least linked to the Day of Judgment. For example, the Prophet ﷺ, he says in a hadith, which is one of his sayings, he says, whoever believes in Allah and the last day, meaning the Day of Judgment, he should honor his guest. What does honoring the guest have to do with that? For whoever believes in Allah and the last day, he should say that which is good, or he should keep silent. And of course, he means she as well, either or. So, what does that have to do with the last day? It has everything to do with it. Because we believe then, because there is a day of resurrection, you will be asked about your deeds, you will be asked about what you say and what you do. And that's why it's all linked to the Day of Judgment. Even honoring your guests, you will get reward for that. And if you're rude to people, and if you lie, and if you backbite, and if you spread rumors and tales, you will be held accountable for that. That's why everything is linked to the Day of Judgment. And there is no motivation, nothing to motivate people to be good if there was no Day of Judgment. And nothing to stop anyone from stealing if you're not going to be held accountable. If you live life once, then why doesn't everyone just do whatever they do, and you're not going to be punished for it? And so this is one of the problems that we're facing, and again, I'm only going to speak for the United States. This is a problem we're facing in the United States with moving away from the belief in God, and the more you get into secularism, people always question morality. But they don't question immorality. I want you to pay attention to that. You don't have to believe me. I would like you to test it for yourself. People always question morality, but they don't question immorality. So when you say, don't use this bad word or that bad word, they say it's freedom of speech.